Hey y'all, it's your girl Booney, and you're listening to the Booney Breakdown Podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet. All right. Welcome. So this week we have a special guest in the house, right? You know who it is? It's me, yours truly. So it's our first solo episode of season 14, and I'm excited. You know what we do? We're going to just do a traditional Booney 5 spot. But it's good. I think it's a good one. So you guys let me know, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and kick it off with a drag of the week. A drag of the week. So again, just a reminder, and even though this whole episode is me kind of ranting, but I needed to do a special rant for a drag of the week this week is for all of the news sites that use a paywall. I don't understand how in this age of misinformation and just blatant lies and deception, how we think we combat that when all of the good news articles are behind a fucking paywall. And I don't care if it's $1 a week, $2 a week. I'm not paying for the Washington Post. I'm not paying for the New York Times. By the time you add all of this up, I can't pay for it. I can't do it. So, I just really think it's ridiculous that all the news sites have a paywall. They give you 4 fucking articles a month. You can go through that in a day if they're good, and that's it. Like, it's just not fair that in order to read quality news or good articles, it all has to be behind a paywall. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And I don't know who we talk to change that, but I don't like how everything is so fragmented and everything is a subscription-based model now. Like, the news should not be subscription-based. Sorry, not sorry. And I just can't pay the $5. I will not do it. And, you know, I love people who gift a free article. And I like people who do that on some of the social media platforms. So it's like, oh, I can read this because they gifted the free article. It's beautiful. It's great. But they got to do something about these fucking paywalls because it's getting out of hand.
Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
All right, housekeeping. Last week we had episode 262 with Niza Shelley, Why Modern Dating Feels Broken, and y'all was ready on this one. I got a lot of good feedback. Somebody said this is a great episode, Booney, and lots of good tips. Maybe I can't place all the blame on the men in the dating pool because I have some things to work out too, but they're definitely worse than women. So if you have not checked out that episode, you need to go back, check it out. It's a good one. I promise you'll learn something. You will learn something from that episode, okay? So check it out. Also, number 2, I was a guest on Bourbon and Boy Shorts podcast. You know, I love Jeremy and Kyle over at the Bourbon and Boy Shorts. So I was a guest on their past episode, episode 1. No, I think it was episode 203. My apologies. Episode 203 with Bourbon and Boy Shorts. So go ahead and check that out. Run the numbers up for them. Let them know that the Ratcheteer Gang is down with Booney, and check that episode out as well. Also, we have a major Patreon update. So currently the way my Patreon is set up, we have 3 tiers, $3, $6, $15. To make it more manageable for me and making sure that I can just stay up to date with it, we're going to change it. It's just going to be 1 tier moving forward. So we're just going to have 1 tier. So I'm asking everyone who was at the $3 tier or the $15 tier to just move to the $6 subscription rate if you were. Now, people who were $3, you were already getting all the benefits at the $6 level because I wasn't sorting them out. So if you want to continue to stay in the Patreon by October 1st, you need to make those updates so we can edge that out. If you would like to join, you can head on over to patreon.com/the Booney Breakdown, just $6 a month. You can sign up for some extra stuff. You know what we have coming up soon, March 25th, we have book club session. We're reading Dr. Candace Nicole's book, Good Sex, and she will be there for the book club session to join us and have a great discussion about her book. So again, if you're already existing and you're not at the $6 level, please update your subscription to that by April 1st. If not, I will have to cancel your subscription and you'll have to sign up. And if you would like to join, then feel free to join. If this is your first time listening, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you follow us on Instagram at The Boonie Breakdown. I hope you leave us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, I think on iHeart. You can just hit those 5 stars. I greatly appreciate it. All right. So that's it for me. Well, not it for me, but that's it for this part. But let's get ready to break it down. Hey, all right. So here we are. I haven't done one of these episodes in a while, but we're just going to get to it. It's a Boonie 5 spots. We're just going to kick this right on off. Number 1. I just have to really talk about, I don't think I really fully grieved the loss of Twitter. Twitter was my favorite social media platform. I went there for news. If someone said, "Oh my God, did you know so and so died?" I opened the Twitter app to see, because Twitter was like my official news source. I don't really watch the news. I do read articles when they're not behind the paywall, but and it just sucks that goddamn Elon Musk ruined Twitter. And I've been trying to find a replacement for it. For a while, I was rocking with the blue sky. The skyline, as they call it. It was cool. A good amount of the people I liked on Black Twitter had moved to the black sky, the skyline. But something about it just really hasn't meshed like Twitter did for me. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't know why. I can't figure out why, but I don't open it like I always do. And then somehow, some way, I found myself on Threads a little bit more. And I initially did not like Threads because for whatever reason, the content that the algorithm was feeding me, I did not support. So it was always, when I went on there, it would be like, uh 6'4" king looking for his BBW queen. All girls over 250 check in, girls over 200 checked in. That would be one set. Then it would be the people are like, "Oh, I'm looking for friends in this new city. If you're in Baltimore Threads or Philly Threads, chime in. I'm trying to meet like-minded people." And then it was the GLP-1 subset. And so I just felt like the content that I was getting wasn't matching. And then people I think everyone's so fragmented now. And so it's like I have some people who left Twitter and are heavy Threads users, and I have some people who left Twitter and are heavy Blue Sky users. And me trying to juggle the two apps, I don't like. I still go on Twitter every now and then. Our responsible fave will send me some stuff on Twitter here and there, because he's still over there. And it's just like I don't like it over there either. So I just really, really am sad and disgusted, maybe is the word. That like my favorite app was ruined. Now, the one reason why I haven't fully deleted Twitter, and in all honesty, we can say it's for a ratchet reason. It's just I had a little bit of good I had some good porn bookmarked over there. I think we've talked about this before. Twitter porn versus um regular porn. And I think some of it is more amateur based on Twitter. So it was nice, not that acting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really struggling with a replacement for Twitter. And I'm accepting that maybe there is no replacement for Twitter. And that's kind of scary. It sucks. But Twitter had a good run, but RIP to Twitter. All right. Number 2. We loved Paradise on Hulu. I think a couple episodes ago, it was Boonie's pick of the week. Loved it. And I feel like Sterling Brown was getting a lot of accolades, as he should. I mean, the body, the skin, he's a good actor. He got that energy. It's like great. But I want to focus on James Marsden for a second. We're going to focus on James Marsden. Now, I got to say for James Marsden, the milk is good. The milk is good. That is some good milk right there. I have loved James Marsden since this made-for-TV movie. I think it was like a two-parter, but it was called Bella Mafia. I think it came out in like 96 or 97, but he played Luca Corolla on Bella Mafia, this made for TV miniseries. And ever since then, loved him. I feel like he is aging so good. He's going to turn 52 this year, and he's from Oklahoma. Who knew? I looked this up, but I am just really like, give it up for James Marsden. The boy has been working as well. He has done a lot. But I really enjoyed him in Paradise as well. And I'm watching because it's like, okay, he's aging, but the milk hasn't spoiled. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate um people who, especially in Hollywood, who are letting themselves age. And it's like, okay, you still fine and you look like you're 50 something, but you're fine as hell. And I think James Marsden fits in that. The blue eyes, the dark hair, the chiseled jaw, it all works. It all works. So I did not realize how much I really fucked with him, but I was watching Paradise and some of them scenes. And you know, the episode that did it, spoiler alert, jump ahead a minute if you want or 30 seconds. But the scene that really drove it home for me, and I was like, oh, he acting, was when in episode 7, when they're in all of that chaos and they were using the janitor in the White House to help tell the story and evolve his character to make that big decision to be like, I'm not gonna say this bullshitty canned pre-recorded speech. Like, they need to know the truth. And in those moments I was just watching like, damn, that boy look good. So pick number 2 is James Marsden and the phenomenal aging that he is doing. Number 3. So I've kind of I did share this more with my Patreon community. They've known about this. But I've gone decades. Got my license when I was 16, 17. Because I think when I was after that cutoff where the provisional license came in. So I got my provisional license, then my license. Um, and had no car accidents for decades. And I have now had 2 car accidents in 6 months that were not my fault, with the most recent being this past Wednesday. I had one back in Labor Day weekend, which was a whole ordeal. Was hit by a drunk, inebriated, high driver. Mama Ratchet, it was in the car with me. It was a hit and run. It was a whole ordeal. But I had to deal with a concussion after that, which caused me to delay season 14. And finally get through that and went and got these braids done on Wednesday, leave the braid shop and literally turning and this asshole runs the red light, crashes into the side of me, and now I have immense back pain, some hip pain, some shoulder pain, but yeah, car accidents suck. Car accidents suck. I just feel like, when the fuck did everybody lose their goddamn minds on the road? Why is nobody paying attention? People are on their fucking phones. Like, it's too much. It is too much. I don't know what the answer is, and people have to go back to fucking driving school, but it's just like, there are fucking turn signals for a reason. There are fucking red lights and green lights. Like, Garrett Morgan made the motherfucking red light for a fucking reason. And it is just so disheartening. Like, I have a little PTSD right now. Like, if I see somebody getting too close, I'm like very jumpy. And it sucks. I had my car, y'all know. I was rocking with my old baby. I had a paid off 13-year-old Toyota Camry, not balling. But I think this accident killed it. And it sucks of all the times to have to go be possibly forced to buy a car. And this car market absolutely, completely sucks. So, yeah, the funny thing though is when I called 911 though, I would love to get the recording of that 911 call. Actually, maybe I should do a FOIA request because the way I cussed that man out who hit me while I was on the phone with the 911 operator, and she's like, ma'am, please stop engaging with the other driver. Oh, I was cussing. West Baltimore came out, okay? But, yeah, stay safe on the road, guys. Like, put your phones down, pay attention, like, it's just like, no one wants to die in a car accident, like, and we're just getting way too reckless behind, the wheel of cars and not thinking about the ramifications or that we're invincible or whatever the case may be. But your girl, I don't wanna be in any more wrecks. This was not fun. They were both pretty, major accidents, and I'm happy though and blessed that I was able to walk away from both of them. But just in such a short amount of time to have 2 car accidents after having a long period of never having an accident, your girl's a little shook up. But yeah, just pay the fuck attention on the goddamn road, people. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But yeah, so I'll be okay. It just sucks right now, but what are the fucking odds, you know? All right. Number 4. I just feel like with everything going on, and I think for me, just, this, the car accident situation, I just think everything is just drilling home for me the need for true community. And I know you read the memes online and you'll see some tweets, but I really think now more than ever, we really are going to have to lean into one another. And for me, community shows up in different ways. And so for me, I'm just really blessed and fortunate. Like, I have this online community, my Ratcheteer gang. I hope that all of you know how grateful and appreciative I am of everything that you've done to support, whether it's, bought a live show ticket, whether it's merch, whether you liked an Instagram post, you've listened to the podcast, you subscribe to the podcast, you left a 5-star review, like all of those interactions and ways that you show up to support my podcast, my brand, and what I'm building and growing. I hope you know that I'm immensely grateful because there's so many things and ways that you can just support anybody else, is the point I'm trying to make. And so for me, I'm grateful for that community, but I'm also grateful for my real life community who I can call and at a drop of a dime, they will show up for me. Case in point, my accident last Wednesday, I called a friend like, hey girl, I need you to come pick me up because I ain't gonna have no car to get home. And it was just like, it was no hemming and hawing. It was no girl. It was just like, drop me your pin. I'm on my way. They were there. And so for me, that is community. It's community when, hey, I'm just checking on you. Are you okay? It's community when it's like, girl, I just want to come over and lay on your couch and sit here and scroll my phone in silence while you sit on the other end of the couch and we're watching TV. That is community. Community is a group chat where you're just sending memes and talking shit and showing up for each other in some type of way. That's community. Community is, I don't know, I was reading my daily um motivational book and I thought this was so powerful. I'm going to share it with you. That is community. And I think we really, really need to be intentional about building community and being able to build a support force that can show up for you in the good times and the bad, not just the bad times, but definitely in the good times. And I just I think we undervalue, is that the right word I want to say? But I think we undervalue what community really is. And I think it's important for our mental health. Um the support it gives, that sense of belonging, and I think it just helps your overall well-being to know that you have a group of people who would like to see you thrive, to see you, sustain, to see you grow. And we always talk about resiliency, and I think community plays a big part in how resilient people can be, because life can just keep throwing you punches. It really can. And you see some people are able to step up, shake it off, and get back to it quicker than others. And I know for me, having that vital support system of people who I know will have my back, and I never once have to question who they are, how they'll show up for me, and how they'll support me, and they know 1,000% I will return the favor and do the same for them, that is community. And I just implore everybody to find your own sense of peace, to find that vital support system that you will need. And if you have it already, don't you take it for granted for a second. There are people out here who are dying just to have one person care about them, one person who supports them. And if you have the capacity and the ability to call on a support system of multiple people, it's invaluable. I mean, you can't even put a price tag on that. You just cannot put a price tag on that. And I think for me, um, I just wanted to drive that point home about the need for a healthy community, for our psychological health, for your mental well-being, why that is important. And especially in this world where you can feel so isolated at times, where some people, all the community have are on these little devices. But to have real deal physical people who can help you feel less alone, less stress, and just help you feel like you're a part of something bigger, do wonders. It will do wonders for you. It will do wonders for you. So I just say that find your community, keep building that community, pour into your community, harvest your community, because I don't know where I would be, quite frankly, without mine. I have a very small family. And so for me, my friends are my family. My friends, I can rely on some of my friends more than I can rely on some of my blood. And that's just real to me. My friends, I know it wouldn't be a question, a doubt in my mind that I can call on some of my friends. What you need? I'm there. Done. It's handled. I don't gotta think about it. And so that's it. I didn't mean to get too preachy, but I really just think we need to start drilling that. We gotta drill that community home and make sure that your community and your sense of belonging is fortified. That's my sermon. Number 5. I didn't and I'm gonna do another episode on this, but I felt like I wanted to set it up first before I did a deep dive into this. This is another thing that my Patreon community has known for years, I think at this point. I think so. But in February of 2023, I had a hysterectomy. And I do want to dig deeper in this with um, a medical professional, maybe some other Black women who have done this. So I'm putting it out there that if you are listening to this and you've had a hysterectomy and you'd be willing to share your story, please feel free to shoot me a DM, send an email to thebooneybreakdown@gmail.com. I would love to tell your story because I just think, especially as Black women, we oftentimes suffer in silence and we don't know what we don't know because we don't share, and some of these things are taboo. And I think that's the whole reason why I do what I do with the Boonie Breakdown, is because I want to address those taboo topics and talk about the things you're not supposed to talk about. But yeah, true life, I had a hysterectomy and it was the best damn decision I ever made. I can't even begin to verbalize how freeing it is, how amazing it is to have my life back, to have energy, to have vitality. It was so many things happening that now I can, as I'm on the other side, that I'm like, oh, who knew that my quality of life could be this good? And so for me, it was not a choice that I took lightly, but it was a choice that was easy for me to make, if that makes sense at all. I am somebody, I'm very thorough. I can make very impulsive and rash decisions, but also I can make very thoughtful and supported decisions as well. And so for me, it started with a change of primary care doctor who was just like, has anyone ever told you that you are direly anemic? And I'm like, no. And just for reference, a normal hemoglobin level for women is 12 to 16, and I was hovering between 4 and 5. And I remember my primary care doctor just looked at me like, "I don't even know how you're even functioning. Like, I should pretty much send you to the hospital immediately for a blood transfusion." But I did not want to do that. And, she sent me to a hematologist. And I go to a hematologist, did some more extensive blood work to look at some more detailed levels about my blood. And from there, we did iron infusions. My first iron infusion was massive and it did not take because I was still having very heavy periods. Um, period. I never had pains. I never had cramps. I had cramps one time in my entire life, if you can believe it. And that was like freshman year in college, and I've never had cramps again. And so my periods, they were just very heavy. My flow was very heavy. And so to the point, walking around with a blood count of 4 to 5, I had to take naps constantly. I could not get through the day without taking a nap. But now I know why. And now I don't take naps anymore now that it's been corrected. So, did all of this. I've also shared, my family history, and I have my mom's consent, but to share this as well. But, my grandmother died from stage 4 endometrial cancer earlier in the pandemic in 2021. My mom was diagnosed with that same type of cancer, and she was successful in her course of treatment that it wasn't as serious, but she caught it very, very early. And so to have both my mom and my grandmother to have the same type of cancer was very triggering to me, and alarming. And so I, equipped with this knowledge, go to my annual gynecologist exam and talking about this, and do pap smear, do all this stuff, it comes back abnormal. And this particular time I was like, I'm just done with this. I can't do this anymore. We have to find out. We got to get a plan. I can't keep living like this. Do the biopsies come back normal, which is great news, but it's still, I'm getting iron infusions. It's not helping my level. So we determined we have to stop my cycle. I then was taking these pills. I think it's transemic acid. But I was taking 6 horse pills a day during my period only to kind of lessen the flow. That worked for a little bit, but it's like I can't stay on these pills for the rest of my life or until, menopause kicks in. So it's like, what is the answer? So we did that for a while, did another iron infusion, and it worked that with these pills and the iron infusion, it took a little better, but it still didn't even get my numbers to where they should be. So it was kind of like, we need to stop your cycle. Um, Go to my gynecologist, and essentially all that she offered me was an IUD, and I did not want to get an IUD. I did not have great experiences with birth control, hormonal, or particularly did not have great experiences. And so, yeah, I said, "Okay, well, what else?" And she wouldn't offer anything else. So we had a little exchange, and I said, "I'm gonna go get a second opinion," and she welcomed it. So I did get a second opinion, and I thought it was interesting because I had a couple opinions, but finally it was a man who gave me more options. And he was honest, like, you have limited options, but you do have more options than an IUD. And just go back. This is over like a course of a year. I go back for another pap smear, comes back abnormal again. I have to do a biopsy again, and I was done. And I said, you know what? That's it. I'm scheduling the hysterectomy. And so February 2023, I had a hysterectomy. And life changing. Like, I was trying to look for a word, but the word is life changing. Um, my blood count has not gone below a 13 since the surgery. I have energy. I don't need to take naps anymore. Not being burdened by, oh my God, am I gonna bleed out in the store because I'm on my period? Am I gonna ruin sheets and mattress covers because I'm on my period? The sense of freedom I have, not being tied to that, not having to worry about what week, oh, I'm going away, that I'm gonna have my period that week. I mean, the amount of money you spend on pads and tampons, it's just it's done and it's amazing. And so I'm not advocating for people to get a hysterectomy, but what I'm saying is it's like sometimes you have to make a scary decision. For me, the scary part was not even about I did go through the conversation with myself about like, what about kids? And I'm like, I'm not partnered, I'm not married, but I also never had a strong desire for children either. And it was kind of like as we're moving forward to this, the options were presented to me of do you want to have um go through the process of freezing your eggs? Do you want to see how much your ovaries, how many eggs you have in your ovaries? And when I started thinking about that, I was just like, no, I don't. Like I knew I didn't want kids that bad to make that kind of investment in time or money, quite frankly. And yeah, it was just quite frankly, I just really did not I didn't want to make that investment in time and money. And for me it was like, okay, I'm okay with that. So yes, I did not go down that route. It was offered to me. Um, but what was scary to me was like, okay, I'm dating. And thankfully we're older. I'm 40 now. And I was just like, what if I meet somebody who's like, they want kids and I'm unable to birth a child? I cannot birth a child. And it was like, what does that look like? Like I wouldn't want him to be like, well, bye. But I had to talk it out with my therapist, where she essentially was just like, that's not your choice to make. So you have to be honest with people, and then you also have to be prepared that they could say, "Thank you, it was real, but I need to go find somebody because I would like to have natural children." And yeah, that was scary for me. That was what was scary for me, having the conversation, as I'm dating and trying to find my person, right? It's like to admit this, what I was conceived that could be potentially a flaw for somebody. So that I had to work all that out in therapy, but I still stand by my decision. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same. But I wanted to kind of get this out here, and just let people know, my story. And I was not ready to share it when it happened, but I'm in a way better place that I feel comfortable sharing that broadly now. And I like that I had the ability to control that and control when I wanted to let people know and the world know that I don't have a uterus. Uh, but I do think it is an important conversation because the more I shared my story with people in smaller settings in real life, that everybody's like, oh my God, I'm dealing with the same thing. Or, oh my God, I have this. And so in a future episode, when I have a medical professional on, I will get into some more causes because I was trying to figure out why this was happening. We could not find out why, but I did not find out why until after my surgery, and they ran some pathology and some tests and et cetera, et cetera. So, um, that's it. True life, I had a motherfucking hysterectomy and I would not change a fucking thing because not having a motherfucking period is the bomb dot fucking com. Okay. I got my period when I was 11 years old and I had this hysterectomy when I was 38. So bleeding for 27 years, once a month, sometimes twice a month, and bleeding like the fucking Red Sea. I did my time. I did my time and I'm okay with this freedom that I have now. I promise you. I promise you I am. So that's it. That's our 5 spot. So more to come. So again, if you are a Black woman and you've had a similar reproductive health issue and you feel open and comfortable discussing it, then please, 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 please reach out because I would love to um share some stories and let people know that they're not in this struggle and they are not suffering alone. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for our 5 spot, our episode this week. So, thank you. I appreciate you all for listening. And don't forget, if you are on Patreon, then I need you to go in and update your membership. If you are currently at the $15 or $3 level, you need to move to 6. There's only one tier of membership now for Patreon, just one tier of membership. So please, please, please do that by April 1st. I appreciate you all so very much. Okay. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any apps that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave us that 5-star review. 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at The Boonie Breakdown and share this episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these fucking reels for nothing, okay? Have a dope ass week. Thank you for listening and stay healthy, stay safe, and stay sane, okay? Remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Home I stay. Until next time.